A friend opens a new app, and the welcome screen quietly suggests people they might know. And there, halfway down the list, is you, your name, maybe an old photo, a face the app should have no reason to recognize, except you never made an account, you never signed up, you have never typed your name into this company in your life, and it is already introducing you to a stranger by name. That little moment is the whole story of this video. A platform you never joined can still hold a profile of you, built from the edges, stitched together out of everyone else's data. By the end, you will know exactly where that profile comes from, why you cannot simply opt out of it, and why staying off a service does not keep you off its books. The profile you never made. Start with the uncomfortable fact. The thing the industry quietly calls a shadow profile is a record about a person who never agreed to be recorded, not an account you forgot about. A profile assembled about someone who has no account at all. It is built from the gaps around you. Every time your information shows up inside someone else's data, a little more of you gets sketched in. You are not the one filling out the form. Other people are filling it out for you, one contact at a time, without ever meaning to. Your number in 100 phones. The biggest source is also the most innocent. It is the contact book. When a friend installs an app and taps allow on the contacts prompt, they hand over their entire address book in one motion. Every name, every number, every email saved on that phones. And your number is in that address book. Not just one. You are saved in your mother's phones, your coworkers' phones, the group chat organizer's phones, the person you bought a couch from 3 years ago. Your single phone number sits in dozens, maybe hundreds of address books. And every time one of those people grants contact access, your number is uploaded again. So the platform never needed you to type anything. It received your number from one direction, then another, then 100 more. It sees the same number appear across many unrelated phones, and it draws an obvious conclusion. This is one real person, and a lot of people know them. And notice that the people uploading you had no idea they were doing it. They were not careless, and they were not betraying you. They tapped one ordinary permission prompt to find which of their friends were already on the app. The address book just happened to come along, and your number rode in with it. The platform built its picture of you out of 1,000 small, well-meaning yeses that were never about you at all. The edges draw the shape. Here is the part that turns a number into a profile. The platform is not just collecting your contact details. It is collecting who has you saved, and that is far more revealing. If 40 people have your number, and the platform already knows who most of those 40 people are, it now knows your social shape without you ever appearing. It knows you are connected to that family cluster, that workplace cluster, that old school group. You become a dense knot in a map drawn entirely by other people. Think about what that allows. The app can suggest you to the right strangers because it can see who you sit near. It can guess your rough age from the company you keep. It can place your city from where most of your contacts live. A profile with no account behind it can still be startlingly specific because the people around you are specific. Inferred connections now layer in a quieter signal. Platforms watch who keeps appearing near whom, and they treat proximity as a clue. Two numbers that show up in the same address books over and over. Two people who are always in the same group, tagged in the same places, saved by the same friends. Repetition like that gets read as a relationship. The system does not need either of you to confirm anything. It infers the link from how often your edges overlap with someone else's, and it is usually right, because real relationships leave exactly that kind of patterns. This is how a platform can guess that two people are partners, or colleagues, or family, long before either says so. You can decline to list a single connection, and the inference still forms around you, assembled from everyone who did not decline. The buttons that watch the web step off the app now and onto the wider web, because the tracking does not stop at one company's borders. Across an enormous slice of the internet sit small embedded pieces from the big platforms: a like button, a share widget, an analytics snippet, a tiny invisible image the size of a single pixel. And to Eva and Vans is a quiet report home. When your browser loads a page that contains one, it has to fetch that piece from the platform servers, and that fetch carries information, which page you are on, roughly where you are, details about your browser and device. It happens whether or not you ever click the button. And here's the line that matters. This fires even if you are logged out, even if you never had an account to log out of. You do not need to be a member for your visit to be noticed, because the report is triggered by the page, not by you. A person who never signed up can still leave a long trail of visits across the web recorded by a company they have no relationship with. Site owners add these pieces for ordinary reasons. They want share buttons. They want to see how many people read a post. They want their ads to work. The embedding is a convenience for them, not a plot against you. But the side effect is that a handful of large platforms get a window into a huge fraction of the web at once, watching from inside pages that have nothing to do with them, reporting on visitors who never chose to be seen. The visit nobody clicked. People assume tracking needs a click. It does not. The embedded piece loads automatically as part of the page the moment it renders. You read an article, you never touch a single platform button, and the record of that visit can still be created. On its own, one visit is almost nothing, but the same embedded pieces are on the next site, and the one after that, stitched together over weeks. Those visits sketch an outline of someone, an interest here, a frequent topic there, a rough location, a daily rhythm. A logged out stranger slowly takes shape, even with no name attached yet. Attaching a name to a stranger, so the platform has two things: a noisy outline of a logged out visitor moving across the web, and a rich web of contact data full of real names and numbers. The unsettling part is how these get connected. The same device, the same network, the same patterns of when someone is active can line up the anonymous outline with the named edges. The visitor who keeps appearing on certain sites starts to look an awful lot like the number that sits in 40 address books. Once those two threads are tied, the shadow profile stops being a vague sketch and starts being a named one. You never authenticated. You never confirmed a thing. But the inference quietly closes the gap between the body moving around the web and the name everyone else handed over. Matched identifiers between companies. Widen the lens one more step, because no single company has to do all of this alone. Companies match identifiers with each other, passing keys back and forth so two separate records can be recognized as the same person. Usually it is not your raw email or number crossing the wire. It is a scrambled version, a hashed key that both sides can compute and compare without showing each other the original. One company holds a key for you, another holds the same key, computed from the same email. They line them up and agree, quietly, that these two records are one human. Your browser is not part of that handshake. There is no pop-up, no button, nothing to block. Two companies simply compare notes, and the person they are comparing is you, even though you have no account with either one and never agreed to be the subject of the conversation. Why you cannot opt out? Now the question everyone asks. If this profile is about me, why can I not just delete it? And here is the honest, uncomfortable answer. The usual controls were built for members, and you are not one. Waiting out, downloading your data, deleting your account. Every one of those assumes you have an account to act on. A shadow profile has no login for you to reach. The data was never yours to manage in the first place, because you never supplied it. Other people did, from their phones, from their address books, from their visits. So the normal off switch does nothing, because it is wired to a relationship you never entered. You never opted in, which is exactly why you cannot cleanly opt out. There is no door with your name on it to walk back through. Limited controls that exist. It is only fair to be honest about what does exist and about its limits. Some platforms do let a non-user submit a request to not be matched or to suppress a profile built about them. Some regions have privacy laws that force companies to honor a deletion or objection request even from people without accounts. Those routes are real, and they are worth using, but they are narrow. They often require you to first prove that the faceless profile is yours, which is its own strange exercise, and even a clean deletion does not stop the source. Tomorrow, another friend taps allow on the context prompt, and your number flows in all over again, and a fresh outline begins to form. The controls treat the symptom. The cause is that your details live in other people's hands, and you cannot reach into all of those hands at once. The asymmetry at the heart of it. Step back and look at the shape, because the shape is the whole point. A normal account is a deal. You give a company your data, and in exchange you get a service and at least some controls over what you handed over. That is a relationship, lopsided maybe, but a relationship. A shadow profile is not a deal at all. You get nothing, you agree to nothing, and you control nothing. All of the data, none of the consent. The company gets a usable picture of you for free, paid for by everyone around you who clicked allow without thinking about whose privacy they were spending. That asymmetry is why this feels different from ordinary tracking. Ordinary tracking at least involves you. A shadow profile is built in your absence, by your absence, and it is hardest to challenge precisely because you were never in the room. Not signing up is not invisibility. So here is the thing to sit with. The instinct to stay off a platform is a reasonable one. It really does keep some of your data out of their hands, and it is not nothing, but it is not invisibility, and it never was. Your number still rides in other people's phones. Your visits still echo off embedded pieces scattered across the web. Your name still gets handed over by people who never asked you, and the company still assembles whatever it can from the edges you cannot control. Choosing not to sign up shrinks the picture. It does not erase it. The uncomfortable truth is that on a connected web, you do not get to be fully absent just by declining to join. You can be the one person in your circle who never made an account, and there can still be a quiet profile waiting in a system you have never seen, drawn entirely by the people who love you and the pages you read. If pulling everyday systems apart like this is your kind of thing, the machinery that runs quietly under the things we all click without thinking, then you are in the right place. No products here, no upsell, just the systems explained by someone who has spent a long time inside them. Subscribe and follow the rabbit hole. Next time we follow one of the smallest tricks on the entire internet. A single invisible pixel dropped into an email that quietly tells the sender the exact moment you opened it, where you were, and what you read it on. The invisible pixel and how emails know you opened them. Once you see it, you will never open your inbox the same way again.